Hello, everybody. Welcome back. So this week, you guys are going to dive into sun salutation. So I'm going to quickly review what sun salutation is, the techniques behind the poses, and then what you guys will be doing this week is going through each one on your own. So in the modules, I have embedded the different poses, go through them individually, and then at the end, once you've gotten through that all, do the whole sun sal in sequence a few times. That way you get familiarized with the poses in the sequence.
All right, so let's learn a little bit about sun salutation, Surya Namaskar A. So this one specifically, we're going over your sun sal A. There's two variations. There's sun sal Surya Namaskar A, Surya Namaskar B. You'll go through B later on, but sun salutation essentially is a way to warm up the body. This is a great warm up. A lot of studios use this, different styles of yoga. They'll use sun salutation as a way to kind of heat the body. They also you also move with one breath per movement. So as you inhale, bring the arms up. As you exhale, you bring the arms down. As you inhale into one pose, as you exhale, you're moving into another pose. So you're really matching your breathing with your movement. So you're also preparing your body, the muscles and joints for the rest of the sequences. Like I mentioned, it's like getting that warm up in. This is a great start for those in vinyasa, very popular, as well as Ashtanga flow. So those are the two primary that you'll see sun salutations. And like I mentioned before, there's two types. So there's 7 different poses that you'll go through. You have your mountain pose, your Tadasana pose, your standing forward bend, also known as forward fold, your Uttanasana pose, your halfway lift, which is your Ardha Uttanasana pose, your plank. A lot of people know this from working out, your Phalakasana pose, your Chaturanga Dadasana. Then you'll flow into Cobra Bhujangasana and or. So your Cobra is that standard, upward facing dog is the more advanced. So you have the option to stay in Cobra or explore, or even right from Chaturanga right into your upward facing dog, which is your Utthana Mukha Savasana pose. You'll end in your downward dog, which is your Adho Mukha Savasana, before you flow into either the sequence again, or you're moving into another flow sequence. So kind of breaking down each poses, that way you can familiarize yourself before you're on your mat and practicing. So this mountain pose is meant to create awareness, embracing, getting the body ready. You're increasing flexibility and strength in the feet, legs, and hips, as well as you're applying good posture. So you can see in the photo here, the difference between a person doing it correctly versus not correctly. You want to make sure the shoulders are down and back, the navel of your belly button is like kind of tucked in and core is engaged. You're not slouching, you're not letting your core just be loose. You're also not letting your head just kind of hang low. Your arms are out to your side. You're also not when people get into mountain pose, they'll not engage their arms. So it'll just kind of sag down. You want to embrace. So you're locking out the elbows. Your palms are facing the same way as your heart and your chest. Your feet, you're engaging. Kneecaps are lifted because you're engaging your thighs, your quads. Toes are spread apart because you're grabbing your toes onto the mat. And your heels are slightly apart. So that's where that evenness of your feet. You're not just all toe or all heel. Also with our standing forward bend, forward fold pose, this one, you're going to bend at the waist, come all the way down. The vision is to get that forehead to meet the knees. But this one's a great one. It helps with strength and flexibility in the spine. It can stimulate kidney and liver production, as well as loosening the pelvis and the calf muscles. So in that demo, you're bending at the waist, you're coming down, if you can, making contact with the floor with your hands. If not, if you have yoga blocks or a water bottle or something, that I would recommend. That way you're hanging on to something as you're working on bending that body down. Halfway lift. So this one, you're creating like an L shape with your body. So from head, hip to heel, creating that L. This one's a great hamstring flexibility stretch as well as elongation, and improves the lengthening of the back spine and in between the ribs. What you want to make sure that you're doing in this pose is that you are placing your hands onto the shins. So not letting go of your hand. They're kind of dragging, they're shaving up the thigh or up the shins. They don't go up the thigh. They don't meet the knees or higher, because you don't want to go too up where the upper body is now creating like a 45-degree angle. It's creating that 90. So that's what you want. Gaze is slightly down or forward. You're not looking all the way up and straining that neck. You want to keep it neutral. Nice back flat, knees are slightly bent or straight, but do not lock. And then thinking about keeping the feet engaged by grabbing the toes onto the mats. Our plank pose here, you want to make sure you're in that push-up position on your hands, not your elbows. This pose is great because it strengthens the wrists, arms, shoulders, abdominal muscles. This is a great core pose. Many people know this for this pose. And it can help reduce low back pain too. So if you're noticing you're a person that deals with back pain, this might be a good one, as well as respiratory system increasing. Because I definitely feel like every time I hold this, my heart rate increases and I get a little bit of heavy breathing. So you want to make sure those shoulders and wrists stay stacked, creating that straight line. You're drawing your shoulder blades together and down. You're like pushing yourself away from the floor. You're squeezing your glutes. Your abs are engaged. You're keeping that nice flat back. Legs are locked out, squeezing through the quads and then pressing back with the heels. If you need to modify this, you can always come down to the knees and hold that position there. Chaturanga. So this one helps build power at the core, as well as preparing the body for engaging for advanced core strengthening poses. So we're moving from up now down to the mat. So as you transition down, you're gently guiding the body down. So this is kind of, think of it as a tricep push up. Elbows are tucked in, chest is coming down slowly to meet the mat. You're on the balls of the feet. The heels are pressing back, squeezing, or you're relaxing your glutes, as well as gazing down. So if you are in that position in your plank on your knees, you can still do that for chaturanga as well, and just guide yourself down. Cobra. So this is the one that your feet are going to be flat, legs are rested, you're pressing with the upper body. So a little bit an upper body workout here. This pose stretches the chest, the shoulders, the abdomen, the thighs, and the hips. It strengthens the upper body, the arms, the back, the shoulders, and the legs. So by lifting with your arms, your upper body, you're working there, as well as flexibility in the spine. So as you practice this pose, you want to think about keeping the elbows in, like I'd mentioned before. You don't want to shrug the shoulders. You want to pull them down and back, gaze forward, keep the legs just rested on the mat and on the ball. And you're on the tops of your feet. So feet are flat and parallel. Toes are pointed backwards. So the difference between that and our upward facing dog is you're actually lifting now. So you press and lock out the elbows where they were bent before. You were just lifting the chest, and now your thigh is elevated from the mat. And then also pressing with the tops of your feet into the mat. So by pressing, you're engaging the legs, you're squeezing the quads, the glutes are relaxed, but shoulders are down and back, blades are pulled back together. So you're working more of the arms here. You're strengthening the wrists, like I mentioned, the arms, the shoulders, and the legs, because you're pressing. And again, it's the advanced pose to Cobra. And this is a good one to help relieve sciatica pain as well. And then our last one is our downward facing dog. So as you transition into this one, you're stretching the hamstrings, the calves, the shoulder, the spine, and the chest. This is a good one because it helps calm the brain, it helps release stress, and helps mild depression, helps energize the bodies, and it's also a transitional pose. So a lot of people use this as an active recovery as we move into other poses throughout your yoga flow. So you're lifting up the hips, creating that triangular shape with the body. Arms are extended forward, heads looking through the legs. Your feet are about hip width apart. Your heels are going to be kind of lifted. They won't touch the mats, and that's okay. But you want to make sure those toes are pointed forward. Shoulders are relaxed down, and you're pulling your shoulder blades down and back still. All right, so go ahead, get your mats out. You're going to try these, go into your modules again and individually break down each pose, get them done, and then try that flow all together and into your sun salutation A. And then make sure to complete your quiz that's due by by Friday at 11:59. Each week, those quizzes and all the modules get available to you on Monday. So go ahead, get that done. Reach out to me if anybody has questions. Have fun, and see you guys next week.